Hello everybody, Dr. Selfridge here for Sunday live stream. I'm back. If you might have seen me last week, I was back after a long little hiatus, but we are back here on Sunday live streams, and it's Sunday, September 21st. I'm very excited to be here. Looking forward to hearing your questions and answering your questions, and also maybe check out some new songs and help you learn any song you want to learn how to play. The song I was just playing, so let me just say, if you join us in the chat, if you're those of you who are here, welcome. Go ahead and say hello in the chat, and it's always nice to know what part of the world people are watching from. That's always nice to know. And if you are asking a question about instruments or music, please give me an idea of, it's helpful to know how long you've been playing. If you're a beginner, you've been playing for a few years. So always nice to know where people are watching from, and let me know the instrument you play and how long you've been playing your instrument. Of course, I know some familiar people here already. We're going to say hello to some people. Mia Ann is here, one of our good friends who has been with us a lot on our previous live streams. And Jacqueline is here. Hello to Jacqueline. And as we go through today's live stream, let me know what's on your mind, what musically is on your mind. Today, something new. Well, at the beginning, I was just playing a little jazz piano. Let me show you my piano here. Where can I show you my piano? Here we go. There's camera 3. So I have my piano today. If people have questions about music theory, or the piano is just helpful for figuring out songs. You know, in one of the classes I'm teaching right now is AP Music Theory at the high school. So AP Music Theory gets into some pretty deep, as you might expect for an AP course. It gets into some pretty deep music theory. And the one thing I tell students from the beginning, if you're trying to learn music theory, and especially if you're getting deep into it with AP Music Theory, it's super important that you get to know your way around the piano keyboard. And so you may, if you have never played piano, even if you play whatever instrument you play, piano is a great instrument to start to learn the basics of, because it helps you figure out so many of the important things about music theory and scales and chords and how chords work together to make songs. So many cool things you can do with piano. So just a quick lesson for those of you who might be new to piano. Let me pop over to my piano cam, and I'm going to turn on my little picture in the corner here. There I am. Hello. And folks, please, as you think of any music questions you want to ask, I'd be happy to answer them in the chat. So here is our piano keyboard. Let me move my microphone. So here's our piano keyboard. The first thing I teach students when we're learning about the piano keyboard is we have to learn our way around the different keys of the piano. So there is a pattern. I see that question that just came up about the national anthem on clarinet. I will get to that. I'll do some of that today. But first, I want to show you the pattern of how we find our way around the piano. You know, we have our white keys here, right? And our black keys up here. Our white keys are all of the plain letter notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? There's only 7 different plain letter notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here they are. Once you get to G, it repeats. A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's our white keys. And then the black keys, of course, are the flats and sharps. Now you'll notice the white keys just kind of go in a straight line, right? One after the other. But the black keys have a pattern here. Do you see the pattern of the black keys? The pattern is 2, then 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. It goes all the way up the piano. This is a smaller piano. This is a 49 key keyboard. A full piano is how many keys? Do you know how many keys a full piano, a grand piano is? Even an upright piano, if it's a full size piano, is going to have a certain number of keys. Let's see if anyone knows that answer. So I use this pattern, or we use this pattern of 2, 3. We can find our bearings on the piano. Find any pattern of 2. There's a pattern of 2 black keys. There's a pattern of 2. There's a pattern of 2. And we take any one of these. Let's take this one. Take the first, the one on the left, right? And then just go down. When I say down on the piano, down is to the left. Up is to the right. So down is lower notes. Up to the right is higher notes. Here is our two black keys. Take the one on the left, the lower one, and go down what's called a half step, which is the very next door neighbor white key. And that is how you find what we call in music C, or middle C. Actually, on this keyboard right now, that's not middle C. There's middle C. The C in the middle of the piano. If you had a full-size piano, you would see this is in the middle. Okay, so 2 black keys. Take the one on the left, the lower one, and go down 1 half step to its lower neighbor. Next door neighbor, that's a C. And then you go from there, we find all the C's on the piano. See, 2 black keys, C. 2 black keys, C. Boom. And there. Yeah, Mia, you're correct. A full-size piano has 88 keys, right? And this smaller keyboard has 49. So we found all of our C's. There's another one here. The next thing we do is you use that C to start to find your way around the piano. It just goes in the alphabet. So you start on C, go forward in the alphabet. C, what comes after C in the alphabet? D. What comes after D? E, F, G, and then in the musical alphabet, we don't go on to letter H. We go back. When we go up another one, we're on A again. It loops back to A, B, C. So going back to C here, 2 black keys, left black key, C, D, E, F, G, and then A, B, and look at that. We end back up at C. Look at that, works out. So going from there, we start to learn all of our sharps and flats, which we can maybe talk about another time. That'll be part 2 of the piano music theory lesson. Let's go back to our chat and let's start to answer some questions, okay? So, my friend here, so I want to figure out what I should call you from your very cool looking screen name there. I'll call you Anaya. Is that okay? Anaya, let me know if I'm saying that correctly. Can I post how to play the national anthem? I think I actually have. Well, first of all, what instrument would you like to play the national anthem on? I can work on a video for that. I do have a couple of national anthem videos, but they are specific to, I'm going to assume you mean the United States national anthem. And I have a couple of videos posted where I demonstrate how to play this particular arrangement of I think it's the Mark Williams arrangement on several instruments. But just to get you started on the national anthem, I'm going to wait. If you're still here, Anaya, pop back into the chat and let me know what instrument you play. Hopefully, if you play clarinet, flute, alto sax, tenor sax, or piano, or even trumpet, I could do some of it on the trumpet. I can show you the correct notes. While I'm waiting for that, let's go to Mia. Mia's question, request. Can I play September by Earth, Wind, and Fire? Wow. That's a good one, especially because it's the month of September. And this is a fun song we like to play when we come back from, when our marching band comes back after a home game, we come back into the band room to put our stuff away. The kids like to put on some party music and have a nice, mini dance party. That's one of the songs we put on. So let me find it on YouTube. Off the top of my head, I don't know all the notes to this. And the question is, so there's when you play September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm going to put this on. Whenever I use YouTube videos on my live streams, I always get, I don't get a copyright strike, but I get this notification that my video can't be monetized, which is fine. But every time I use sort of copyrighted, YouTube has these really great algorithms that detect when you use other people's recorded music. But that's okay. I want to help you figure out this song. So I'm going to do a little bit of this. Here it is, by the way. And here I am. And I'm going to turn it up so we can hear it. Hey, Praise Sax, I am going to get to your question in just a few seconds. So if you can just hang on for maybe a minute or two. I'm going to do a little bit of September for Mia, and then I will get to your question about the solfa notation of a song. All right, so just hang in for a few minutes, okay? All right, so September, Earth, Wind, and Fire. So let me take this back. Mia, what inch? Oh, flute. What key is this in? So the first thing I did on my piano is I was trying to find what the home key of this is. Do. So speaking of praise sax, your question about solfege or solfa. Solfege is super important. It's like the number one skill or number one tool, I would say, that I like to teach my students for figuring out songs, right? Everyone always wonders, how do you figure out a song by ear? It seems like such a mystery. And the answer is you learn how to use solfege and you learn how to listen to a song. First step is figure out which note in the song sounds like it's do. Ba, the root of the song. And if you listen to this beginning, this introduction, I'm hearing ba, this note. You turn it up a little bit. That's an A. So say you want to play this song on flute and you want to play that opening riff. Da, 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 da. So that ends, that little riff, da, 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 ends on the note that we figured out as do. So you have to think, if this is do, what's this starting note? And I know my solfege, I've practiced it a lot. I know that it's mi, re, do, mi, re, do. Or if you want to do numbers, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. And that's going to be on an A major scale, right? C sharp, B, A. Right? You could slur it or kind of half tongue it. You might want to slur that. Same note. Okay. Do you remember? That's do. So if I use my solfege, la, do, re, mi, da, 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 da. So it's going to be, you know your A major scale, F sharp, A, B, C sharp. It's getting a little bit high. I'm gonna play it down this octave. So F sharp, A, B, C sharp, and then da, 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 da. Yeah. C sharp, E, F sharp, B, back to A, F sharp, and then back to C sharp. Let me see if I got that right. Hey, Haley. Okay. Da, 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 da. I think I got it right. So. Yeah, it's the same thing 3 times. Ah. So it's A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, B, A, F sharp, back to C sharp. Da, 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 da. Then that little clouds part, ba-da, it's a B, but the way he puts a little up and down on it, I think it's a B to a C. Na, na, something like that. No, it's a C sharp. It's a C sharp. Okay, so the whole A section. So there's the first part of September. So Mia, let me know if that was helpful at all for you. You might be able to figure it out from there. I would challenge, maybe it'd be a nice challenge for you to try to go from there and use your A major scale and see if you can figure out more of that song. It's a really good ear training practice to do that on your own. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, first I want to say hi, Haley. Thanks for joining our live stream. Uh, Haley is one of my students at school. Where are we going? Oh, so praise sax, if you're still here, the question is, I'm a saxophonist. I don't know how to get the sol fa notation of a song. Please teach me. Okay. Sol fa is another way of saying solfege. It goes by, some different styles of saying that phrase, but solfege is basically what it is. And it's what we were just doing on that song I was trying to figure out, the September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now, sol fa notation. I guess, praise sax, if you're still here, if you could give me a little bit more information about what you're trying to figure out. I'm going to try to deduce what you're asking from your question. I think what you're getting at is what we were just talking about, is how do you figure out the do, re, mi of a song and figure that out without someone telling you what it is. And if you were listening to what I was just talking about with September, the way to get good at solfege and figuring out songs is you have to start by singing a lot. And when I talk to my students in music theory and band class, because sometimes if you're not a person who's used to singing, or you're not a person who is in a choir, you might be a little bit shy about using your voice to sing. And so what I tell my students is, when you're singing in band or in music theory, the singing voice is a tool. It's a tool for figuring out music. And so you're not, the point is not to be on stage and be a famous singer who's going to get critiqued by fans or judges. The point is not you're trying to be an amazing singer. The point is you're using your voice as a tool to figure out, and it's a very powerful tool to figure out music. So we start by singing just a solfege scale. Let's pick let's pick C major, okay? And just pick C major and sing a major scale. And you practice matching the notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And just that practice of matching your voice to the keyboard can be a step that you need to spend some time with. Could be a challenge. So once you are good at just matching a note that you hear, just someone plays a note. Ba, ba, ba. Just practice matching notes. Then we take simple songs and we start to figure them out. Like a very simple song. Frère Jacques. You know Frère Jacques? I'll turn my piano on here. Here's Frère Jacques. Hey, how did my... I'm gonna clear this question, but I'm talking about praise sax's question here. So say we take a simple melody like Frère Jacques. Frère Jacques. Or what are the English words? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Or it's also the Thumpkin game, right? Where is Thumpkin? Where is Thumpkin? You guys know that one you do with like a little kid's nursery rhyme? So we start on do. And then we think do, 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 do. So you have to start to figure out, okay, am I going steps? Am I going step by step? Are there any jumps? Are there any skips? And you start to figure out your solfege. And we figure out that do, 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 do is do, re, mi, do. And then you say, okay, if I know it's do, re, mi, do, or if you prefer, you could do numbers. 1, 2, 3, 1. And then all you have to do is map that onto whatever scale you're trying to play. So C major, 1, 2, 3, 1. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Okay, that's step by step. But what note on my solfege scale is that starting on? Do. Well, in order to figure that out, you have to try to keep in your memory, what did do sound like? Do. So if I want this note, this is do. This is the note I want. and you have to try to start to sing the steps in your head to figure out, well, what note is that? Do, mi, that's mi. So I know that it's mi, fa, sol. Okay? And then the third part, da, 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 da. This is the hardest part in the song. Da, 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 da. Sol. If you go up in one note from sol and back down, what is it? Sol, la, sol. Sol, la, sol. Down one, down another one. So, sol, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, do, and it jumps down to do. Why am I spending all this time on Frere Jacques? Because it's simple songs like this that you start to build up your confidence in hearing the patterns. So even if you're trying, well, let me put it this way. We started with a very simple song of Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, da da da. When you hear those patterns in other music that might be more complicated, you're going to recognize them. Like you might hear someone singing a pop song, da 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 da, and I know, oh, I know that's mi fa sol. So I can put that into any key that I want. Once you've mastered this, you could play a song in any key that you want. Like say I wanted to play Frere Jacques in F major. I just need to know my F major scale. And I just map it on. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. And the last part. Do, 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 so, do. 1, 5, 1. So there is the solfege. Pretty, maybe a bit long-winded explanation, but that's how it works. And it's really great for your ears to practice that. Okay, Mason. Oh, Mia, yes, you did get the 88 keys. Good job. 88 keys. All right, Mason, if hopefully you're still here. I'm getting to your request now. Can I play It's My Life, the marching band piece? Is that Bon Jovi? Bon Jovi? I feel like he has a song called that. All right, let me go back to YouTube. So what I have to do is look up It's My Life marching band. Jacqueline, I see your question too. The theme from SWAT. Cool. Mason, It's My Life marching band. I typed that in. Arranged by Matt Conway. Conaway. Ah! Sorry. Yeah, Bon Jovi. Here it is. Okay. So these videos are great. A lot of the publishers, when they put out a new song, they will publish on YouTube. Hey, nice. I'm glad that helped in some way. Praise sax. Okay. So a lot of times if you're playing band music in your school, new pieces that are released, arrangements, compositions, the publisher will post a video of the score. The score is the listing of all the instruments and all their parts, and this is for the music teachers, the band directors, the orchestra directors, or directors of any type, to preview the music and see if they'd like to choose that for their ensemble to play. They are also a really great resource for students because you can listen to the song, you can see it, follow along. It's a little bit tricky because it's a score, so you see how small the notes are. So I'll see if I can follow along the clarinet part here. So it starts. Oh, here's my mouse. So here's the flute. Here's the flute part at the top. Then there's the clarinet part. Do 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 do. Now that's a little bit hard to read. C. I think those are C's. You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to zoom in on the clarinet part. Oh, those are D's. D D D D D A C. All right, I'm going to play this and see if I can play along with it, okay? See if I can manage to keep up, read the notes. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. But 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Page turn. Grips 13. Sorry. Let's get back. I can't read it. It's a G, sorry. Oh. I'm going to pause it there because that's probably one of the hardest spots in the song. Starts on beat 2. I'm going to play this much and then I'm going to move on to, what was the other question here? I'm going to do a Jacqueline's request after this. Okay, so here is probably one of the trickiest spots. You got to beat 1. Now, if you're playing first clarinet, you'd play the high notes F, E, F, G, A, or you could play the low notes. D-I-V means divisi. That means the students in the section should split those notes. One group of students plays the low notes. One group of students plays the upper notes. So you're going to rest on beat 1. 1. Da 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 dum. So it's rest 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a 1. The low notes would sound like this: 3, 4, 1. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my transition there. There we go. So my usual clarinet that I use, I think it must be at school. I can't seem to locate it. So I'm using a great clarinet, but I'm not used to playing that one with this particular reed and mouthpiece setup. But, all right, let's go to Jacqueline's question. And wait, who asked me for that one I just did? Mason. So Mason, are you playing that in your school band? I would be curious to know. All right, let's go to Jacqueline. The theme from SWAT. Now, I actually don't know if I've heard this song before, but let me see. Theme from SWAT. Okay. And Cristiano, I see your question. I'm going to come to your question next, okay? Theme from SWAT. Let's just listen to this. This is a request. Whoa. Jacqueline, is this the right one? All right, I'm going to turn this on again. I'm going to put my piano cam, and I'm going to start to figure out this this key here. What key we're in? Start it again. I think it's an A minor. Yeah, hear that? It's A. Ta-da. Yeah, A minor, definitely. Ah. All right, so something like that. I'll do it up here. I think that's what it was. Let me try it. I wonder if it does the same thing again. No. Oh. Okay, it goes to the 4 chord. Okay. Oh, that's cool. All right, so it's a quasi minor blues, but it doesn't fully follow the minor blues, but it starts on A minor. And it does this little thing starting on the 5th. And then it goes up to the 4 chord. And it goes the same thing transposed up. So da-da-da. All right, so just real quick, I'm just going to play it on clarinet as requested. So, and then I'm going to get to Cristiano's question about metronome or timing. So, all right, so that was in A minor. So clarinet, you'd be in B minor, B, D, F sharp. Like that. So we went to B minor from A, transposing up. We have to remember for B minor, for clarinet, we have 2 sharps. We're talking about this in, oh, thanks, Jacqueline. I'll just play it real quick, though. So there's 2 sharps. D major and B minor are relative keys. So here it is with 2 sharps, B minor. Right? And then it goes up. I got to transpose E minor. That's a cool song. Good groove, good beat to it. And like I said, it's kind of similar to a minor blues. Let's jump into, thank you, Jacqueline, for that request. That's a cool song. I've actually never heard that before. Must have been a TV show, I assume. All right, so question from Cristiano. I have bad timing. Not even a metronome helps. I'm so frustrated that I don't get even 4/4 on time. Okay. I'm either too fast or holding the notes for too long. Okay. So here's my advice on this. I think problems with steady beat and counting notes the right amount of time. First of all, it's very normal. And I remember feeling this way when I was younger learning how to play. I think it mostly comes from what you're trying to, it comes from a place where you're trying to play a song, but you're focusing more, your brain is focusing more on interpreting and calculating the symbols on the page rather than feeling it from here and your inner hearing. So we all have the ability to hear music silently inside our own minds. It goes by different names. I like to use the term audiation. You might call it mental, what else might you call it? Inner hearing, it's called. Imagining the music. There's also a term called audiation, which I use a lot. So try taking the step, whatever you're trying to play, can you look at the notes and can you sing the music, or can you keep a steady beat just on your lap or pat the table or your chair or tap your toe on a steady beat? So here's my steady beat. I'm trying to think of a good example. Say I have a rhythm that's like half note, 4/8 notes, and then a quarter note in the next measure. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 next measure. So instead of maybe getting caught up with right, that's kind of like how you might play it if you were thinking too hard about it and just looking at the cymbals. Look at it without your instrument. Tap a beat. What would that sound like keeping a steady beat? Ba, 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 bum. Okay. Ba, 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 bum. So you have that in your mind. Then you take your instrument put your fingers, I don't know what instrument you play. Cristiano, did you say? No. Then you take your instrument in your hands, keep that sound of what the song should sound like in your head. Tap your toe on the beat. Da, 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 da. I lost my key. No, I was pretty much on it. Then, kind of, sort of sizzle or blow your air to the song, or sing it. Do, 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 do. Tap your toe. Do, 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 do. Okay, and then we put it all together. And then what happens is the sheet music that's there, instead of you having to pull the music out of the sheet music is just a reminder to you of how the music goes. You've got the music in here, okay? And the better you get, if you do that a whole bunch of hours of practice of doing those steps I was just talking about, then you get to this magical this magical ability to sight read music, because you've felt and you've played so much music, and you've associated that music with what it looks like in notation. Now you have the ability to look at the notation. You're like, oh yeah, I know how that goes because I've done that before, right? And so that's how professional musicians can just look at a sheet of music and pretty much play it perfectly. I mean, the best musicians in the world can play it flawlessly on the first take. Those are the folks that are working in all the orchestras and musicals and big time bands around the world and in Hollywood and all that stuff. Okay, let's go to, hey, cool. So Christiana, do you think that helped a little bit? I hope so. All right, so Jacqueline is trying to learn chord modes. Alrighty. So, okay, let's talk about modes. It's funny because we were just, again, several of these questions are just magically related to things I've been talking about in my teaching this past week. AP Music Theory, band class, we were talking about modes. So let's talk about modes real quick. Let me switch over to piano cam. Here we go. We'll take the question down so you guys can see my piano a little better. So I can move this like this. I should rearrange my desktop a little bit. All right. So we're talking about modes. And let me put my picture up here so you guys can see me. Okay, so modes are when you take one major scale. C major scale is a great way to start thinking about modes because it's easy to visualize. A C major scale is all natural, all letter notes, which means all the white keys. So there's our C major scale, all white keys. And what we're going to do simply, let me play that again, but I'm going to play, let me take it up an octave. So I'm going to play my C major scale up here. But before I do my chords, let me show you the next step. We can also call this the first mode, because I'm going to show you when we go to the second mode, it's pretty simple. Instead of starting on note number 1, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, we're going to keep all the same notes, but we're just going to move one key higher and start on re and end on re. So like this. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re. Listen to that without me singing. And that creates a different sound because the relationships between the notes are different. For example, in the first mode, major, your half step is between the third and the fourth note. But in the second mode, which is called, does anyone know what the second mode is called? See if we have any music theory people in the audience. The second mode starts on re. Now our half step is here. And we have a whole step at the top, which gives it a different sound. So, can anyone predict what the third mode is going to be? It's not tricky. First mode started and ended on C. Second mode started and ended on D, which is re. Third mode, can you predict? is going to start and end on the third note of our original scale, which is mi. So we could sing it. Mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Let me take that one again. Mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi. There we go. That mode has a name too. Okay? So, waiting to see if anyone can name any of these notes, any of these modes. First mode is major. Second mode starts on re. Keep all the same notes. Third mode. And we continue this all the way through. We've got a mode that can start on 4. It can start on 5, 6, and 7. So here's mode 4. Sounds almost like a major scale, just a little bit different. Here's mode 5. Now, Jacqueline, I'm going to get to your question because you're asking about the different chord qualities. Here's mode 6 and mode 7. Okay, so you get different chord qualities if this is what you were getting at, Jacqueline. When you play, so now I'm going to play my first major, my major scale where we started. I'm going to play the chord here, 1, 3, 5, which is the root, skip a note, skip a note. Okay. That's major. The second mode, the chord you get is a minor triad. So major triad, minor triad. Third mode, you get a minor triad yet again. Fourth mode, you get a major triad. Fifth mode, major triad. Sixth mode, minor. Seventh mode is the unique one. It's unique because it's the only diatonic triad or mode that gives you a diminished triad. Okay, there's our modes. So major, the scale is a major scale. The modal name is Ionian. They basically are the same thing. Second mode is Dorian, gives you a minor triad. Third mode is Phrygian, gives you a minor triad. Fourth mode is Lydian, gives you a major triad. Fifth mode is Mixolydian, sorry, brain freeze, gives you a major triad. Sixth mode is Aeolian, gives you a minor triad. Seventh mode is Locrian, gives you a diminished triad. Okay, so there's modes. Jacqueline, did that make any sense, or did that help? Hopefully I wasn't just telling you stuff that you already know, but there's a little introduction to our modes and chords, diatonic. So, here's our friend here, Motswasele. Motswasele? Ben. I'll call you Ben, if that's okay. So, Ben, I would like to learn how to play jazz as a saxophonist. Which reading material? So reading is always great. What do I want to say? Honestly, the number one thing I will say to you is listen to as much jazz as you can. And all of the answers are there in how to play jazz, because jazz is, there are great books out there, but there's nothing better than listening to jazz. So tell me in the chat if you'd like to. Let me come back here. Tell me in the chat if you're still here. What kind of saxophone players do you listen to that you would like to sound like? So are there famous jazz saxophone players that you listen to that you admire and you say, I want to sound like them? Or they don't have to be saxophone players. It could be any instrument. So tell me that if there's any names. And then you go and listen to those people. So many different ways to listen, right? Online, on your phone, all kinds of things. And jazz is primarily an aural, A-U-R-A-L, tradition. You listen and you just try to make your saxophone sound like that, you know. And there are some things you can learn from books about, like special techniques about how people do things. But really, the right answer is just listen and try to copy what you hear. Um, Jazz uses all the same music theory as regular music. There's some special stuff, but it's all based on major scales and the stuff we were just talking about, modes. They're all just playing major scales with some chromatic alterations and things like that. So, but let me give you see if I can think of a book. There's um, hmm. Okay, there's a book called an old book called Patterns for Jazz by Jerry Coker. Patterns for Jazz, and that's a great book full of melodic numerical patterns that are common in jazz improv, and also by practicing them, they help you become a better, more agile musician. So, for example, all right, here's a quick one, and then see if any other questions. I'll get to other questions next. But so, Ben. Okay, so let's take a simple pattern you might see in that book I just mentioned, Patterns for Jazz. Um, 1, 1, 3, 5, 7. Let's do a major 7 arpeggio. 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 1. So that is outlining the notes of a G major 7 or concert B flat major 7 arpeggio. 1, 3, 5, 7. So this book will have you practice that in all 12 keys. You can either go around the circle of fourths, like that. Getting your facility, getting your knowledge of your mastery of your instrument in all 12 keys. Then what you might do for here, Ben, I'll put it in the chat. It's Jerry Coker. I'll put it in the chat. Let me type it in, and then I will tell you more about patterns. So it's my typing does not always cooperate. Patterns for Jazz by. There you go. Oh, you know it's a really good one? There's another one called the Jazz Theory Book. Let me put it in here. The Jazz Theory Book by Mark Levine. That gets really, I mean, you get so much, both those books, you get so much information. It might be a little bit overwhelming for someone who's just learning. Trying to think of like good beginner books. Well, you know, Jamie Aebersold, Volume 1. Jamie Aebersold has a whole series of, he's like a legend in jazz education. He is a legend. He's not like a legend. He is a legend of jazz education. And he released, you know, famously, he really popularized or really is the #1 first person who really did jazz play along tracks. And so there's many volumes, and the first one has a ton of great information in it. But like I said, all the reading in the world is great, but it doesn't replace listen and copy what you hear. Okay? Let me get back to Cristiano, thank you. Yeah, real book, yes, and yeah, real book, yes. Real book will give you a ton of melodies and chord progressions. It won't really instruct you on anything. There's no instructions in the real book, but the real book is a great resource, for sure, for sure. Okay. Jacqueline. Oh, let me get back to Cristiano said. It's funny that in the U.S. Oh. Yeah, you know, the solfege does, I'm not an expert in solfege around the world. I do know that there are some discrepancies. So yes, in the US, in the United States, do, re, mi, fa, sol. Sometimes some people sing so, S-O. Some people sing sol. I think that's more Italian. But do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Um, I also, in case anyone is watching this and is familiar with, uh, lost my train of thought. Familiar with, uh, talking about solfege. Oh, right. Yes. Fixed do versus movable do. And I am fully a proponent of movable do. There's a tradition in music called fixed do. And I know in some parts of the world, I've heard of students where they learn their music based off of solfege and in this way. And fixed do is always C, like the note C. That's always do no matter what. Meaning, if you're in C major, it's do, re, mi. But if you're in B flat major, it's te, do, re, mi. And it's, to me, that's extremely confusing because I'm not used to it. And it throws me off because for me, the whole benefit of solfege is that as a person who does not have absolute pitch, that's a whole other conversation. Absolute pitch, perfect pitch, relative pitch. As a person who does not have absolute pitch, I rely heavily on my sense of relative pitch. And so I always want a major scale, no matter what key I'm playing in or thinking in. I always want the resting tone to be do, and then it goes up to re a whole step, and then up to mi a whole step, but then a half step to fa, mi, re, do. To me, that's the crux of why the solfege scale is even useful, is the fact that I can listen to a song in any key, and I can immediately deduce what's happening in the scale, what the patterns are, and what the chords are, and then I can also instantly, not instantly, I mean, I'm working towards it, but pretty quickly, I can play a song in any key, which is a huge advantage as a musician, especially in jazz. So, I know some parts of the world and some musical traditions, fixed do is always C. So whether it's the root of the scale or the seventh of the scale or the fifth of the scale, you're going to sing C as do, which is interesting. Interesting. So, Jacqueline said, I'm hearing a jazz song when I play 1-3-5-7. Do. Yeah, I mean, it's the 1-3-5-7 is the major. It's the major 7 chord. So I'm trying to think of what song just straight up uses that pattern. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Da, 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 da. I think it's Imagination, or not Imagination. There's a song that does that. I forget what it's called. But it goes do mi so, ti do mi so do. It's a fascination. I'm sure there's other examples I'm not thinking of where 1-3-5-7 is part of a song. Hey, so before you know it, everyone, another hour has just about flown by. I'll hang on for another minute or two to if there's any questions bopping around your mind. I'll just, before I do that, I just want to go back to the chat here. So Jacqueline mentioned D major, D minor, E major. I never knew. I always played by ear. Oh, okay. The diatonic chords. I'll say one thing about that. The diatonic chords are super useful because so many songs the chord progressions are simply triads built off of different roots, different notes of the scale. So let's take the simplest, I got rhythm, or really what that is, that's same chord progression as actually heart and soul is 1 6. Let's say heart and soul, right? Super simple. Right? If you play those chords, those use 4 diatonic chords in C major. You got the 1 chord, the chord based off of 6, the chord based off of 4, and the chord based off of 5. 1, 6, 4, 5. In I Got Rhythm, you have a very similar chord progression. Instead of 1, 6, 4, 5, you get 1, 6, 2, 5. 2 ends up being like a substitute for 4. They have a lot in common, because here's 2 and here's 4. See how similar they are? So 1, 6, 2, 5, and then piano skills. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I'm working on my piano skills, so cut me a break on that. But yeah, diatonic chords are super important to music, all of music. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for being here today. We're going to wrap up for the day. I will be back next week. Thanks so much for being here. Please bring more questions and more suggestions, maybe some suggestions for new videos I could do. And as always, I really appreciate you being here. Have fun. Don't forget to practice and do something musical this week. Okay, everybody, it is officially time for me to sign off, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.